Hello everyone. We hope you have a great day or a great night. We are the team Quality Price of the Subject Information Systems, taught by Dr. Juan Gómez Carranza. The topic that we will discuss is about cloud computing. So, the team is conformed by Eduardo, Rosas, González, Abel, Vilchis, Mariana, Arce, Aguilar, Iván, Alejandro, Rocha, Ríos, and your server, me, Jonathan Joel, Ortega. The cloud serves business of all sizes. The cloud is for everyone. The cloud is a democracy. This phrase was said by Mark Benioff. Mark Benioff was one of the main pioneers in computing in the cloud as we know it today, and it's the executive director of Salesforce. Well, I am Jonathan Joel Ortega, and I will give you an introduction to cloud computing. I will give you a small and simple definition, and I will tell you in a general way the historical context of how the first concept of the cloud arose and how it evolved to what we know today. So, what is a cloud? The cloud is a collection of different types of hardware and software that work collectively to offer many aspects of computing as an only service to the end user. And what is the cloud computing? The name of cloud computing was inspired by the cloud symbol that is often used to represent the internet in image and flowcharts. As you can see in the image, on the left we have the devices on which we connect to the internet. On the right are the servers where the information or services we use are located. And the cloud represents the internet, the intermediary between devices and server. In a simple way, cloud computing is a technology that allows remote access to software, file storage, and data processing through the internet, making it an alternative to running on a personal computer or local server. In the cloud model, there is no to install application locally on computers. Clouds are information technology environments that extract, group, and share scalable resources in a network. They are usually created to enable cloud computing, which consists of running workloads between the system. However, clouds and computing are not technologies in themselves. So, what are they? Clouds are environments, which means that they are sites where applications run. Cloud computing is an action, which means that is the function that is responsible for executing our central workload in the cloud. The technologies are elements. They are the software and the hardware systems that are used to design and use clouds. So, what is the difference between cloud computing and my PC's disk computing? Unlike traditional computing where information is saved on local disk of your PC, the cloud data is stored on many physical and or virtual servers that have the service of providers from other companies. Cloud computing provides individuals and business with the ability of a well-maintained, secure, easily accessible, and on-demand computing resource pool. One of the advantages of using cloud storage instead of local storage is that you will always have a backup of your information anytime, anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. A simple example is that if at one point your computer was stolen and there comes your thesis, you didn't know endorse your information in another disk or in the cloud, your thesis progress will be lost. And in that case, if you have backed up information on another disk does not guarantee that you will not lose or damage it again. Now I will tell you in a few words about the history of cloud computing. In the 1915s, the concept of centralizing data storage was created by Rocha. John McCarthy introduced the idea of timeshare in 1961, and various American companies popularized the application of it. The concept of computer network emerged in 1963 by J.C.R. Leader. In 1969, ARPANET was created. In 1996, Douglas Parkhill explored many of the current features of the cloud computing in depth with his book, The Challenge of the Computer Utility. The first known definition of the term cloud computing seems to be by Professor Ramnath Chelappa in Dallas in 1997. Salesforce was founded in 1999 by Mark Benioff, a former Oracle executive, at a time when very little was said about cloud computing. The cloud began to take further shape when Amazon Web Services appeared in 2006 and Google Cloud in 2008. The biggest boom in the cloud computing came with popular servers like Apple iCloud or Microsoft's Windows Azure as of 2010. Well, this is all from me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentation. I leave you with my co-workers.
Hello, I'm Diego Rosas, and we are going to continue to talk about cloud computing. This topic is services, and we are going to talk about three services. There are software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. First, software as a service. Software as well as managed data are centralized and hosted in a unique server external to the enterprise. What does mean? That you don't have to host your own software. The company manage all the things that the software should do, and you can use the software with internet. You send an instruction, and the company that offers that software processes and sends a response. The provider handles the hosting as well as maintenance and support. So when the services are in software as a service, you don't have to take the cost of the maintenance or support because the company does that work for you in exchange of the cost of the service. The client accesses the software and their data to a web browser. That is true. Let's see with some examples we're going to talk about later, but you have to access internet with a web browser, or there are also web apps when you download an app but the app doesn't work without internet, so the connection is made between your computer and their. For example, I have here Office 365, and Office 365 is a home suite with a lot of apps, and Office used to sell their apps individually, so you have to pay for Word, PowerPoint, Excel in a single time payment. And maybe you remember those boxes with DVDs in the stores when you used to buy their software. Microsoft still use that model with Windows, which is a one-time payment, but with the Office they offer you a monthly subscription in which you can use all these kind of services. And this is very useful, for example, for organizations, because they just pay for the time they are going to use their software. For example, if you are just using Sway, which allows us to create some cool presentations, you can just buy 1 month of Office 365 and then you don't have to buy it again. Another example of that is Proton VPN. What's Proton VPN? A VPN is a network that protects your IP from your internet provider, for example, Megacable or Telmex. So this is one I personally use. I have the Proton VPN there, but it's disabled now. And you pay a monthly subscription in exchange of use the VPN in up to 5 devices. They have a free version too, unlike Microsoft, which doesn't have a free version. But in the free version, you can use up to 2 devices. Now let's go on to talk about Platform as a Service. A platform and an environment are provided and allows developers to create apps and services that work through the internet. These tools are provided by the enterprise. The tools are hosted in the cloud and users can access through a web browser. What's the difference between this and software as a service? Software as a service is an application which is already finished, so you can use it directly and clients can interact with the software. Meanwhile, Platform as a Service it's a software which allows you to create those apps, and these are tools that helps a lot to developers. I think they are the main target because they make a lot of the work developers usually do for them, so it's easier to them to develop and deploy apps. We can see an example of that in Heroku. Heroku is a service I use for some years, and it allows you to deploy your apps. Let's wait until it loads. And here we have my projects. As you can see, I have a server running, and Heroku is a very useful tool because you just connect your GitHub repository to Heroku, and every time you make a push to the repository, Heroku checks the changes you've made, and then their software and their servers apply those changes, and they automatize the process of building an app. So you can have a repository with a React app or even a simple HTML app. You connect it to Heroku, you hit push, and it deploys automatically, and you can open your app with a custom link they give you. It's useful for deploys not the Amazon Web Services is another example of a platform as a service, but Amazon Web Services involves a lot of different types of tools developers can use. They have infrastructure as a service and also a platform as a service. For example, in Elastic Beanstalk, you can use a service they provide, so you can upload your code, usually a web code, and Amazon will handle the deploy and they will build your web app. Now let's going to talk about the last service, that's infrastructure as a service, and where virtually software is provided, and that means processing infrastructure. Includes aspects like virtual server storage, networking, bandwidth, IP addresses, and load balancers. The client gets to the virtual components to build them with their own IT platform. We can say that infrastructure as a service is the second lowest level of the services, and that's because companies provides you with their own servers and you can access them through internet, so developers can build their own software. That's different than platform as a service, in which the applications are already finished, so you just use it. In infrastructure as a service, you don't have practically any programmed software, so you have to build it by your own. So they can give you a fixed IP address in their server. That's important because when you develop a web app or any website, you have to use a fixed IP address. So it's important that you have a fixed IP address, because when you build a website or a web app, the domain have to point to a fixed IP address, and they also handle load balancers. What's a load balancer? When you have a huge software and you need to escalate it, your software is so big that one single server can't handle it, so you might need 2 or more servers, and even these servers can be in different locations. For example, let's say you are a game developer which offers a real-time competitive experience, and you have your users need to have zero latency, so you need to have a lot of servers around the world, and the same software goes through all of them, but your users connect to the server which is closer to their computers. So to sum up, software as a service is a program that clients can use, and it's all done. So they have to pay a subscription, or maybe they have to watch ads, and that's the way the companies get their revenue. Platform as a service allows us to create and deploy apps, for example Heroku, An infrastructure as a service is a remote server in which we can use it to create platform as a service of software as a service apps or also regular apps.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariana Aguilar. The main topic is public cloud and private cloud, comfort versus privacy. What is public cloud? Well, this is not responsible for the management of public cloud hosting. The data is stored in a private data center. Short testing times and new product launchers. However, many companies think that security is enough in a public cloud. All your data remains separate from the others and the security flaws are rare. Well, this is a little description about public clouds. I will explain more clearly and more specific for this type of cloud. This is just for I introduce you for the main topic for public cloud. There are a few examples for public clouds. There are web services, Microsoft Azure, VMware, Amazon Web Services, Salesforce, and Scholar. There are services, public services for the customers, and there are brings to us public clouds, and it's a good option for explore and for implements for companies. What is a private cloud? It is hosted on internet networks or hosted in data centers where all data is protected behind a firewall. All data centers management, maintenance, and upgrades are the responsibility of the company. Over time, several servers will need to be replaced, which is expensive. They offer a high level of security, and there is almost no data shared with third parties. This type of cloud is more specific for focused for security and reinforce that protect their customers. So it's a little more have a higher level of security, and it's better for implements for industries and companies. There are examples for private clouds, BMC, TrueSize Pulse, SAP HANA, Cisco, IBM Bluemix, Red Hat, Amazon Virtual Clouds, VPC. What is a hybrid cloud? A hybrid cloud includes several public and private options with different providers. You must be aware of different security platforms and ensure that all aspects of the company communicates with each other. It's useful when you want to use a SaaS app but are concerned about it in security. A public cloud is used to interact with customers, but you want to ensure your private data in a private cloud. In this case, a hybrid cloud brings us more security, but includes services like a public cloud and also the private cloud, and it's really good because many companies and enterprises looking for this type of cloud because brings the best of the last ones, and it's really good for implements in the industries. Okay, I will comparison between public and private clouds. The first one is a public cloud. Includes multiple clients, shared infrastructure, and access via internet and low cost. In this first one, I will talk about you guys about how it works and how to choose between those two. There is a difference because one is public and another is private, so there are different charges and requirements that the public and the customers needs, and it's really helpful to know and know how it works and who can help us for work in the future, and it's really good to implement. So how it works? Well, the public cloud is for the companies that benefits from this model of business by providing cloud services other companies with following advantages. So companies that hear a public cloud are not care about serve infrastructure. Contracting companies are small, medium, or emerging, so they cannot be allow large spending on servers. Services scalability is guaranteed and availability for application to be maintained online. Only maintain access if desired. Okay, so I will talk you about advantages of public clouds. The first one is lower cost, no need to purchase hardware or software, and you pay only for the service you use. And the second, no maintenance. Your service provider provides the maintenance, so this is really good because the maintenance is really higher the cost. The third is near limited scalability. On-demand resources are available to meet your business needs. And the fourth, high reliability. A vast networks or of servers ensure against failure. So those are the main points to hear a public clouds and the benefits and good advantages. And let's go for the second. It's a private cloud. It's a single client. No other clients accessing the server. Access either via internet or via private networks. High level of security. Okay, in this case, the security is more structured and is more important for the enterprises, and this will be advantages. So let's go to understand how it works. Well, the private cloud is they are companies that implement specific charities of the cloud within their own data centers with the purpose of increased security to provide a specialized service to institutions that require it. Okay, they make a greater than investment in infrastructure and specialized staff, so your costs or operation are higher. The companies that invest in private cloud have safer apps and less vulnerability to hack or hacking. Services scalability is guaranteed and availability for users who have access to their cloud. Access is limited. Its main clients are institutions like government or large companies that they need very safe and robust applications. So there is a description for a private cloud, and now I'll tell you about the advantages of a private cloud. First one is more flexibility. Your organization or customizing is a cloud environments to meet a specific business needs. The second is improved security. Resources are not shared with others, or high level of control and security are possible. The third is high scalability. So private clouds still afford scalability and efficiency of public clouds. Okay, there are the main charts for choose between those two, and it's a really good to know how it works because that will help you to choose in a future between. You can choose the verb for the best for your company or yourselves for work in the best way, and it's good to know. So go to the next. Okay, in this next the advantages of hybrid clouds. Well, hybrid cloud provides a service between a public and private cloud and offers security, but at the same time with functionalities of a public and addition to a benefit of cost. The first one is a control. One of the key benefits of implementing hybrid cloud solution is a control. Rather than instructing all aspects of IT infrastructure, companies can customize and provide and of their hybrid cloud model to their specific needs and adjust them accordingly as they see fit. Okay, and the second is speed. One important byproduct of relating control over networks enable application is speed. Of course, A hybrid cloud environment isn't ahead of time faster than a multi-cloud environment or a public cloud. It does, however, allow IT staff to optimize networks to minimize latency and make it easier for data to get it needs to be. Okay, the security as well, protecting vulnerability data always change. It's a challenge in many networks enable application, but this is especially true of public clouds, while cloud providers go to great lengths to ensure the customers that it's protected. The fact remains that public clouds are fundamentally much more open environments that provide private networks. And scalability is one of the challenge of private networks is the capital investment requirement to build a maintain and expand the network before public cloud services and companies the ability to vastly expand. Okay, and well, the most important I think it's a cost. While implementing a hybrid cloud solution imposes some additional costs beyond establishing a purely private or public environment in the long run. It can significantly lower its cost. Its scalability of hybrid cloud make it an attractive alternative to private cloud, which can be extremely expensive to build up that and expand over it. So this is a whole explication for the three types of clouds. I think the three it's there. Those two are really important. There is no more best than one. I think it's more what it's what you're looking for your enterprise or company, and in that case you can choose your very option. So I want to show you this image. I think I really like too much because this contains all whole and tell us how means cloud computing and what it includes. So there is a server, storage, mobile application, and databases. Of course, what I'm talking about, private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. That image give us all the information that we need and what compose all this new technology, and this so really needed for the future. So I just want to give you thanks everybody, and I hope you see you soon, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. Thanks.
Hello everyone, this is Iván and I shall tell you why should you use cloud computing? What are the benefits of using the cloud? Well then, the cloud allows you to do many things which were more or less already presented. There are three major benefits you have for using the cloud, and this section shall detailedly explain what those three big reasons are, as well as telling you about other benefits the cloud has in store for you. So without further ado, let's begin. First of all, we can save expenses on hardware. Each and every server needs a hardware for which in turn means you need to spend some money on getting the parts, on acquiring the space to get the servers on connecting each and everything in order for them to work together, and then the energy you need for setting them, for turning them on, and for them to actively work. You also need to install the software it needs for work. Well then, what does using a cloud server means? It means you don't have to worry about setting all of the hardware because the cloud automatically has hardware available for you. As long as you sign up, use your own account on the cloud, and specifically tell them what does your company need to do, the cloud shall take all of your worries away. They shall be the ones maintaining your software. What does this mean? It means you don't have to worry about the hardware anymore. So, using cloud-based environments makes every hardware-based cost disappear, as you no longer need to worry about such a factor, as the cloud company shall do it for you. Moving on, the second major reason is the security. Each and every company seeks security in order to protect their employees, protect their personal data, and whatever may threaten them. Cloud-based environments possess stronger infrastructures and bigger budgets because they have a bigger clientele base. Naturally, a lot of people use cloud software. This in turn means the cloud needs a lot more resources in order to keep itself online. A bigger client base means they need to enforce stronger protocols, lots of resources, and stricter requirements in order to protect everyone's files. This means the cloud company always has to keep its guard up. It means they don't have to slack in order for the company to be trusted. Stronger protocols and stricter requirements mean more security. This also means that as long as you as the company allows you to use the cloud, it means you need to comply to every term in order to protect yourself, which also means that as long as you don't do anything out of the blue, the cloud shall protect you. At last but not least, we have the third major reason for you to use the cloud. The cloud locates all computing resources at the same level. It doesn't matter if there are a lot of users on the platform, they all are at the same level as long as their permits are properly accessed. The systems are flexible enough so they can adjust to whatever the user needs them, and at the very precise moment it needs something. For example, let's say a user needs to work on a document. As long as they sign with the proper credentials, the system shall know they are there for a document, which in turn means it shall allocate the resources necessary for the user to edit said document. It also works if you merely want to check or erase something. This means the cloud computing democratizes the software application. All the users need to do is merely to log in so their identity can be verified. Right after they do that, all they need to do is to focus on whatever they have to do. The cloud shall instantly allow them to access whatever resources are allocated. And last but not least, we have even more benefits the cloud has in store for all of you. First of all, as I already said, you don't have to worry about running out of storage space, because the cloud already has a big amount of data you can store. It's also part of the plan you initially bought, which means you don't have to worry about space. And you can instantly pay in case you ever need any more space. It all is predictable because of the budget the cloud manages for you. We have a faster work capability, which is also available to be accessible everywhere as long as you have a proper internet connection, and it is stable enough for you to work. This also means you can have full access to real-time information. As long as you have an internet connection, you'll have access to every amount of resource every user shares on the cloud. and as long as you save and share something there, all other users shall have access to said information. The cloud is flexible. It means the cloud-based services allow you to easily answer tons of requests. This is in case your user base is far too big, which means you can easily answer to requests and every problem any user has installed. Next on, we have a fast and easy ability to recover from issues. What does this mean? It means the cloud is responsible for the proper maintenance of your system, and as long as you run into any problem, you can instantly contact said company and they shall help you recover easily from any problem. There are also other tools which you can use in order to restore your service in proper condition. And last, we have the ability to automatically maintain and upgrade all of your needs. This is because, as I've already said, the cloud is responsible for every part of your service. And as long as you're paying for said cloud, the company automatically has to be responsible for your server. And that's all for me.
Hello, my name is Abel, Vilchis. I am going to talk to you about the uses and importance of cloud computing. Where is the cloud going? Will it offer us in the following years? It's a question that we all ask ourselves regarding the new technologies that are beginning to emerge and gain popularity among us. First, I will talk to you about the uses of cloud computing. In recent years, the cloud has been integrated into many of the activities we carry out, both personally and professionally. It has become one of the most relevant technologies in recent years. I will talk about streaming and cloud computing. Business big and small are using video streaming in cloud computing as a tool for communication, education, and user experience. Due to the streaming video means that large amounts of data are being transmitted. This could result in latency issues, which mean only one really thing, buffering. Cloud computing allows streaming platforms to leverage storage and data to ensure the highest viewing quality for consumers. This becomes important in cases of live streaming. No matter if it's a conference call or a live stream video, no viewer wants to experience a large in their streaming. We can see it reflected in our daily lives in the use of streaming and multimedia services, such as Spotify, Apple Music for music, Netflix Prime Video, YouTube for movies, series, and videos, Steam and Nvidia GeForce for video games, and Crunchyroll for anime. Cloud storage, however, it's present in many other aspects, such as at the professional and educational sector. Since the advent of the Internet, the technology industry has been steadily moving away for local storage to remote server-based storage and processing, what is known as cloud storage. These services provide seamless access to all your important data, Word docs, PDF, spreadsheets, photos, videos, and any other digital assets from wherever you are. The productivity gains and reduce local storage requirements are additional benefits. There were several examples for cloud storage: Google Drive, iCloud, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, Ubuntu One, all examples that come to mind when we think of storage clouds. Now, in the other hand, cloud computing services range for individual business applications such as tax, income or configuration calculation, to high-performance computing or sourcing for complex 3D designs, motion pictures, or scientific research. Among the main functionalities of cloud computing are application development and other services, data analysis, creating models, or prediction partners in business, software development and administration, data storage, backup and recovery, share videos, photos, and audios, website hosting services. The importance of the cloud computing. The cloud computing market continues to grow year by year as companies are increasingly aware of the benefits of saving costs by adopting the cloud. With hardware services, companies can use the equipment of the cloud services provided, storage, hardware, servers, and network components, instead of spending large amounts of capital on equipment. With software services, business applications are hosted by the cloud services providers are available online, thereby saving the costly investment in implementation and maintenance. That's all from us. Thank you for all your time and attention for the video. There are the references for this presentation.